So lately, I've had this game I've enjoyed playing with my livestock guardian dogs.
Morning, large like farm dogs. What are you guys doing, huh? How are my buddies, huh?
Hi. Good to see you guys. Yes. Oh, it's so good to see both of you this morning. Yes.
Let's go start our day. We got chores to do. Come on. So this game is based on this video series that I really like watching called Roll for Sandwich.
The series where I let fate decide my lunch. Let's go.
This guy.
It's like the USS Enterprise, our mission is to boldly go where no sandwich maker has gone before.
And he has these dice.
Today I'll be using these blue and black sharp-edged acrylic dice that were sent in by a viewer.
As well as a list of ingredients.
See which one we get. 15 superior mustard.
And every single day he'll roll the dice to make a sandwich for himself.
Mushroomy umami flavor. Not sure how that's gonna work.
And I have absolutely loved watching this guy's videos.
I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a 4. And I'm gonna call it the Split the Party.
And so this video series really got me inspired to say, what if I did a version of this for myself? But instead of making sandwiches for me, I would try to make breakfast for my dogs. And so that's exactly what I did.
Hello, Dog Talk and beyond. Welcome to Roll for Dog Food, the series where I let fate determine what my farm dogs eat for breakfast. This series is based on Roll for Sandwich from Adventures in Narnia. All right, to start things off this morning, let's see what we're getting for a base. 1, dry kibble. All right, it's about as boring as it gets, but we'll start with that. 2, let's add a meat. Ooh, we're gonna eat steak. This is Kurt Cobain edition steak from our farm, grass-fed, 100%. So I'll chop it up and chunk it up for them, but I will serve it raw. And I know there's gonna be some folks out there wondering if I'm gonna give the bone. Of course I'm gonna give the bone. You always give the dog a bone. Next, let's roll for a starch. Okay, we got 5. I've honestly never fed oatmeal to dogs. I'm very curious to see if the dogs actually like eating this. Now it's time that we're gonna roll 2 dice to find out what roughage. It looks like we're getting a combination of berries and corn.
Berries and corn. Berries and corn. I'm a little lad who loves berries and corn.
The berries are blueberries. They're wet because I had to add some water to defrost them. And yeah, this is just a big lump with knobs. I think they're gonna like both of these. I've seen the dogs eat blueberries before, I've seen them eat corn before. Now it's time to hit it with a bit of wild magic. Ooh, baby food. That's kind of an interesting choice. All right, well, let's give it a shot. I had to buy this baby food special because we don't have kids in our house. I'm not sure what the dogs are gonna think about this, but I can tell little Barn Cat was jealous. Let's bring it out to them. Both Toby and Abby got their attention turned real quick as I started to come outside with the bowls. They rushed to their feeding spots, and Toby didn't hesitate to be served, but once the food was in front of him, he wasn't quite sure what to make of it. He sniffed at it a little bit. He first picked at the steak, but he didn't rush into it. Abby, meanwhile, went right to town. She devoured as much as she could, as quick as she could. She did not wait. She did not hesitate. But when I checked back in with Toby, it seemed like he really cleaned up, and eventually Toby Dog was on the Clean Plate Club. When it came to Abby, she left just a little bit of blueberries and just a little bit of corn, so I'm not sure how much she liked it. And so I would say that Toby Dog gave it a rating of a 4.1, and I would say that Abby gave it a 3.5. Let's see how the dice gods do next time.
Morning, birds! How's everybody doing today? Hey, what are you doing? Go eat those eggs. Oh, man, chicken just started plucking at a duck egg. I don't know if you guys can see this right now, but the floor of the hoop coop is littered with duck eggs. This is just the morning egg haul. I'll probably double this by the end of the day. We're officially in peak laying season. You know, the other day I actually played a particularly chaotic round of Roll for Dog Food where I'll just let you guys watch.
Hello, Dog Talk and beyond. Welcome to Roll for Dog Food, the series where I let fate determine what my farm dogs eat for breakfast. And for today, our lucky charm is this homemade Toby dog figurine that a viewer sent me. And as always, this series is based on Roll for Sandwich from Adventures in Narnia. Let's start things off by getting a base for this dog food. And we get a 6, which means we have to roll 2 dice now. And we get 1 and 3. That means some kibble as well as loaf. Loaf is just like a wet dog food that comes in like a big tube. I'm gonna break it up and just drop it here on top. Now let's figure out what we're getting for meat. 1, that means ground beef. Grass-fed ground beef from Goldshaw Farm. Let me crumble it up, put it on top. I think this might be a meal that my dogs absolutely love. The combination of loaf and ground beef, that's almost a guaranteed winner. All right, and number 4 for the starch. So I whipped up some brown rice for the dogs and I'm dropping it right on top of the ground beef. I think that is continuing to be a very strong combination. Now it's time to add some roughage to this meal, and we end up with 3 berries and 6 broccoli. This is probably not going to be popular. The dogs weren't fans of blueberries last time, and I can't imagine they like the broccoli this time. It's going to take some seriously strong wild magic to make this a good meal for them.
You don't win friends with salad. You don't win friends with salad. You don't win friends with salad.
Okay, and let's see, what do we get for wild magic? Ooh, roll 2. That's kind of unique, so we're going to have 2 wild magics. Let's see what we got. What? 2 roll 2s? All right, so we got jerky and 2 roll 2s. Let me roll my second roll 2. This is going to be an insane meal. The wild magic, I tell you, has such a way of upping the game of culinary delight for my dogs. Oh, wow. So we've got duck head and yogurt. So we've got 3 wild magics going in 1 dog meal. First, I'll add this specially made doggy jerky and break it up into little pieces. And then I'm gonna add a nice big old dollop of some plain yogurt for the dogs. But the thing I'm most excited about is the duck head. This is a dehydrated duck head. It's actually not one of our ducks, but I'm excited to use it. I think both dogs are gonna love it, and it will make an absolutely wonderful cherry on top. All right, let's bring this meal out to the dogs. I can already tell that they're super, super excited about what I've got. Their tails are wagging and they're licking their lips. All right, let's set it out and see what Toby Dog does. Oh, he goes right for the duck head right out of the gate. He starts going to town on that one. You know, if it was a cooked duck head, the bone fragments would be dangerous for him, but because it's dehydrated, it's actually safe for him to eat. Abby Dog also went to town on that duck head, and before I even could get a shot of it, it was gone. She started to mow down on everything else, but she clearly didn't seem to like the broccoli. She also seemed a little bit annoyed by Molly Murder Mittens, who was curious about her meal. Meanwhile, Toby, also not a fan of the broccoli, cleaned his plate and did a wonderful job other than a few stray pieces of broccoli that he ignored. Abby ate most of her food, but she left some kibble, she left the blueberries, and she left the broccoli. So I don't know, you tell me, how do you think each dog rated this meal? Let me know, and the Dice Gods will be back soon to feed my farm dogs yet again.
I mean, I know that not everybody's gonna find that activity as crazy as I did, but I mean, to get like 2 different bases plus 3 different wild magics like that in just 1 game, that's crazy! And then to watch the dogs mow down on a duck head like that, I find all of that rather interesting. And I know there's gonna be some folks who think that by feeding my dogs the animals they're supposed to guard, there's something messed up about it. These dogs are incredibly sophisticated when it comes to discerning the difference between food that's provided to them from me versus the animals that they're supposed to protect, so I'm not concerned about that at all. Hey Joey, how's it going, bud? Good to see you. Well, I'll give you a brushing if you want. Yeah, good boy. But I know this guy wants to be brushed, that's for sure. Oh yeah! Ooh. Now you guys might be watching me play this roll for dog food game and say, yeah, that looks fun, but we wish we could play with you again right now. Well, I got good news for you folks. You see, most of my morning farm chores are done, and now it's time for me to feed the dogs. And so now it's time for us to play roll for dog food. All right, and guys, let's play some roll for dog food here. And so this right here, this setup that you guys see, this is my official game board. I have all the cards that are used for like the values and what happens when you roll the dice and what you get. You know, like for example, there's a separate card for meat, there's a separate card for base, there's separate cards for roughage and wild magic. I also have a collection of dice that I use. These dice are like special dice. You know, they're typically the type of dice that you'll use for gaming, you know, like for D&D or other role-playing type games. I also have good luck charms, like, you know, this Toby dog that somebody sent me, and then a really, really kind person sent me these painted rocks that have various things connected to our farm, and I usually like to leave one of them inside the box as a good luck charm. I think today's good luck charm is going to be Bruce the Goose. Here we go, put him right there. I usually shoot it always on my phone because they end up getting posted to TikTok, and so that just seems to make the most sense for me. And you notice that I've constructed a little stand for the cigar box that I'm using as my playing board. This just helps keep it from moving around and whatnot. And so yes, for today I've selected these Hartford Whaler colored dice, and now it's time to roll for dog food. All right, let's kick this party off. First, we're going to start with our base. The base typically can consist of dry kibble, soaked kibble, loaf, which if you don't know what loaf is, it's this big like tube of wet dog food you can get at your grocery store in the cooler. Canned dog food, freeze-dried raw dog food, and then there's a roll 2 option. On the roll 2 option, it gives them the opportunity for a bit more food. I'm just simply taking 2 6-sided dies and rolling it twice. All right, let's roll for that boots. 3, loaf. You guys might think it's disgusting, but the dogs actually love loaf. Don't want to go too crazy because there's gonna be a lot of food here. It's kind of like doggy bologna. Plop it in right here in the middle. Gotta get the second dog serving. I always want to make sure Toby and Abby can enjoy the same food. All right, let's see what we're gonna get for meat for the dogs. 7, steak. And yes, I don't always have my ingredients immediately on hand, so sometimes I have to quickly defrost something. Now I think mostly our steak is defrosted. This is a shank steak. I'm going with a little bit of a tougher cut of meat, but I think the dogs won't mind it one bit. Five, oatmeal.
Oatmeal face.
All right, we got some freshly made oatmeal here. It actually looks kind of yummy. Roughage has been always the least popular category with the dogs. I think if I end up doing a second edition of this, I might do away with the roughage because, I don't know, the dogs just don't seem to ever like the roughage whenever I feed it to them. All right, now let's roll for our ever unpopular roughage. 2 and 5. All right, peas and salad. Now for the salad, I've got a mix of baby spinach. I'm not gonna go too crazy with this stuff because I know they're probably not gonna be big fans of it.
Give a bag of frozen peas a chance.
And now it's time for the final roll of wild magic. Wild magic's always that thing that just adds a little bit of chaos to the equation. All right, let's see what we get. 4, goose egg. Oh, goose egg, goose egg, goose egg. Well, luckily we are a goose farm and we're in goose egg season, and I have plenty of goose eggs right here, so this is gonna work out pretty well. And just for a size comparison, I mean, this is what a goose egg looks like side by side with a normal chicken egg. So there's a lot of egg to it. Gosh, I'm worried I'm gonna break the bowl. Yeah, never crack a goose egg on a ceramic bowl, and we'll break that bowl. Now, I think that these look like 2 pretty darn good meals, but let's go see what the dogs think.
Here you go, buddy boy.
Usually while the dogs are eating their food, I like to give them a little space and just let them do their thing. I think if I hover over them too much, they feel a little bit paranoid, like I'm watching them and maybe they shouldn't be eating, when in reality, I want them to experience this like a treat or reward, and so I can let them just focus in on their food and dig in, and they usually seem pretty happy.
As expected, the roughage was rather unpopular, and I think Abby barely touched her roughage, and she just turned her attention to the shank bone that was part of her steak portion. And I gotta say, it always makes me really happy to see Abby gnawing down on a steak bone. And as far as Toby goes, he was a little bit more adventurous with the roughage, but I would not consider him a fan of either salad or peas.
I'd be really curious to see in the comments how you rate each meal and how much you thought either Abby Dog or Toby Dog liked it on a scale from 1 to 10. Also, if you want to do your own games of Roll for Dog Food, post them up on social media and use the hashtag Roll for Dog Food. I'll be on the lookout for them. And they might show up in a future video.